Hey there, coming to you from a soggy trail this morning. Ugh, I had a hike scheduled with one of our employees from Mindscape at 8 o'clock this morning. And in Michigan, it's supposed to snow if there's any type of weather in February. It's not supposed to rain. And I legit was just going to sit there in the car because the hikes that we take are virtual. This particular employee lives in Rome, New York, and obviously I'm here in Rockford, Michigan. But we put in the earbuds, and this was the first one that I did, first conversation, but I was listening to her hike along the trail, and I could hear the ice crunching underneath her feet, and I'm like, I gotta get out there. So I literally went out in the rain. And as she was wrapping up her hike in New York, the freezing rain was just arriving. And I'm here in Michigan and the rain's here. So anyway, one of the things that I was thinking about is, well, just to kind of give a little bit of context to that. So over the last couple of years, or actually a couple months really, I've been reflecting on, what it is that I personally receive from Mindscape. Like what is it that I really like? And so I thought back over the course of the last 21, coming up on 22 years, and I thought about like my top 50 memories that I had of all that time, and then I started to think about even more, and so on and so forth. But the crazy thing that just smacked me right in the face was all of those memories, the things that stood out the most over my experience with Mindscape in the last 20 some years, has been events, conversations, or things that have happened between me and another Mindscaper. It was all, there was a few of those events, might be awards that we won, but so little of it had to do with the blood, sweat, and tears we invested in the work that we created, but more so in the relationships that we have with each other. And that was remarkable. It was actually a really pleasant moment of understanding to arrive at, because it just shows how important relationship is. And we've known, I've read the books and whatever, the number one reason people leave companies is because of, well, one of two things: either they work next to a jerk or a terrible commute. And so we know people make decisions based on their relationships with their coworkers, but how often do you hear business owners or business people say it's business, it's not personal? To me, when I would hear that, I always thought it was a cop-out, and it was something that would just not really sit right with me, because to me, business has always been very personal. And after going through that reflection and realizing all those high points in the last couple decades really came from experiences that I've had and the relationships that I've developed with Mindscapers, that it makes me want to double down and go back to really focusing on that intentionally for the organization, but more importantly for my relationships I have with these other human beings I get to work with. And that is it's kind of reinvigorating. But that was kind of one of the outputs, was that I want to, and I shared it with the team, I want to hike with them, because over the last 7-8 years, almost every conversation I've had with someone I'm hiking with has been an extremely memorable conversation. And I don't know the biology or physiology or whatever, how that all works, or the brain stuff, but it seems as though the act of having a shared experience of a hike together and the scenery that we're taking in, although it's completely different, but the conversation and those words just seem to cement themselves further in my brain. And those conversations are great. So I will be having a conversation, and it's not boss to employee or owner to whatever, none of that crap. Literally just a conversation to make sure that I'm intentionally investing in the relationship with each of these people. And I understand, it's like a silly proposition and some pie in the sky idea to think that people are going to come into these conversations without their guard up. But I just had a great conversation with Christy, and I love that. So anyway, so every month I'll be meeting and hiking whether they're hiking with me in person, whether they're hiking on their own trail and we just have earbuds, or whether they're slackers and they want to sit and drink their coffee while I hike. But regardless, we're going to be creating those shared experiences and intentionally revisiting each other each month. And I think it's going to be really exciting. But anyway, I really didn't know what I was going to talk about today, and that stuff just kind of came out. So maybe these conversations are even good inspiration starters. But that's it. I'm going to go continue to hike through this rain. Look at how soaked I am. And that's what happens when you leave your rain gear in the RV that you store in the winter. But I will continue to live my life a brand new way. And I look forward to hiking with any of you that would like to join me. Just let me know. See you. Bye.